Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel, The Lazy Bookworm. I'm Rebecca, very pleased to meet you. If you are new here, if you are a returning customer, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to run down all my 22 bookish highlights for 2022. So hopefully when this video goes up, it will be the 31st of December 2022, New Year's Eve. And that means we are literally moments away from the new year 2023. Like most of you, around this time, I kind of look back and take stock of the year. What were the highlights? What were the lowlights? For me personally, it's been a really mixed year. I've had some real highlights, but I've also had some real lowlights as well. I hope your 22 has been good. I am definitely looking forward to 2023. I decided to make a video where I give you my 22 highlights from 2022. And the highlights are in regards to my reading and also to me as a booktube creator. And so without further ado, here is number 22. And number 22 is I read Jane Austen for the first time, which I know to some of you may be shocking, but before 2022 I'd never read Jane Austen. I'd never read a book by her, never read a book about her. I'd seen a few of her adaptations, not many. I just really, from what I could gather about her and her books, she just didn't really seem to appeal to me. But I knew that lots of people really loved her and loved her books. So I thought I would really give her a go this year. At least read one book by her. Give her a chance before I totally write her off. And so I did that in Jane Austen July. Number 21 is Discovering New Writers. Well, one of them obviously is Jane Austen, but another one is Laurie Lee, but also I've discovered some more contemporary writers such as Libba Bray or R.F. Kuang. It's really great discovering new writers and their works because it just opens up kind of new possibilities, I guess. Number 20, reading some big books. Yes, I've read some chunky books this year. Example is the Iliad. That was pretty long. I'm very proud that I tackled the big books because while I do like big books, don't get me wrong, I do find them quite intimidating, so I find them very easy to sort of just put them off. Number 19 is reading more books. In 2022, I think I've read more books than I have in the last 5 years. And some of that has been because I've been on BookTube. Being on BookTube encourages me to read more books. But also, I do think for me, reading more books encourages me to read more books. It kind of becomes a bit of a cycle. Number 18 is reading more widely. By that I mean I've read books like, say, from the Regency period, but I've also read books that were released this year or last year. I've also read books that were your sort of literary fiction, your sort of classic and contemporary fiction, but also I've read murder mysteries and I've read fantasy books as well. Number 17 is discovering audiobooks and ebooks. This is probably one of the big highlights of 2022. I'd obviously had heard of audiobooks and ebooks before, and I'd used ebooks in a limited capacity when I was at university, but I'd never used them for reading for pleasure or anything like that. So it was only this year that I really started to do it, and I just find it actually helps me read more books. Related to that is discovering Libby, which is my library's e-book and audiobook system. I didn't know Libby existed until this year, to be honest. I know that may sound a bit shameful, but I didn't. And I only discovered it actually by accident. I got a new phone and I was scrolling through the apps and I discovered it, and at first I wasn't going to download it because I was like, I'm not really into reading ebooks and that, but I thought I would download it, and it was connected to my library. So that has been really cool. It's been just another way I can borrow books from the library. Number 15, discovering new booktubers. These are booktubers like Becky from Teacup the Storyteller, Kelly from Kelly Reads a Lot, Kathy from the Grim Reader. There are others too. I'm sorry if I've forgotten you. Yeah, I mean, I'd watched BookTube before I became a booktuber, obviously, but ever since I started BookTube, I've discovered new booktubers, which has been great. Number 14, doing BookTube tags. I don't do a lot of BookTube tags, but I really do enjoy doing them. And I just enjoy doing them because it just makes me think. It makes me think of me as a reader, but also makes me think of like what I read and why. Oh, number 13 is doing BookTube reading months. For example, Jane Austen July, which I mentioned previously, Victober, Cloak and Dagger Christmas, Non-Fiction November. I participated in those reading months before I was a booktuber, but I thought since I'm on BookTube now, I will go all in and really try and get involved with those reading months. And number 12 is more related to me being a booktuber than anything else, and that is me very slowly, very slowly, learning how to edit my videos. 11 is reading books on my wish list. I don't know if you guys have a wish list. I have a wish list. I think it's on Book Depository, I don't think it's on Amazon, but I do have a wish list. And I've read quite a few books off my wish list, which is really cool. The only downside is I've added more books on my wish list. So number 10 is my library. I mentioned my library before, but I love my library. I do feel a bit like a library nerd at the moment, but I really love my library. I love going to my library. I love it now, especially I have like Libby on my phone, which was great. 9, finally, me finishing George Eliot's Middlemarch. I'd started Middlemarch in 2021, people, and I finally finished it this year in August. I think it was in August. Yeah, it was in August. For those of you who know, Middlemarch is a chunky book, and it's a book that it isn't a book that you can kind of skim through. You kind of have to really get yourself involved in it. Number 8 is getting a new bookcase. It's not much, but I needed a new bookcase. I really needed a new bookcase. My books were very cluttered up on my one big bookcase I've got, and they were sort of all spread out around the room. So I really like that I've got 2 bookcases, and that's sort of where all my books are. Number 7 is book hauls. I've had quite a few book hauls this year. I haven't really been good with my purse this year, and some of them were gifts though. But I'm just really grateful. I'm really grateful that I'm able to buy books, and I'm grateful for the books I've got. So number 6 is fulfilling my Goodreads goal. I had a Goodreads goal of 50 books, and I've surpassed that, so I feel really pleased with myself. I don't know whether I'm going to up my Goodreads goal for next year or still keep it at 50. I'm not sure. Number 5 is finally getting to read Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy was one of those authors I always wanted to read. When I was younger, I saw Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Jude, the 2 movies, and I really actually enjoyed both of them, even though they're super depressing, which of course made me want to read their books. I still haven't read Tess or Jude, but I read Two in a Tower and The Mayor of Castlebridge this year. Number 4 is doing my buddy read. I did a buddy read with Teacup the Storyteller. We both and reading with Tatiana, I think, and we did Where the Crawdads Sings. Yeah, Where the Crawdads Sing. Was it Sings? And I really actually enjoyed that, and I'm hoping to do more buddy reads this year. I'm maybe hoping to initiate some buddy reads myself, which would be really, really cool. Number 3 is getting back to reading non-fiction. I've actually always liked reading non-fiction. In some ways I think I liked reading non-fiction better than fiction, but the last couple of years I've mainly been reading fiction, and this year I started to get back into reading non-fiction, and I'm actually reading quite a bit of non-fiction now at this point. Number 2 is related to my booktube channel, and it is getting my new camera. It leads me on to number 1 is starting my booktube channel. That has probably got to be the highlight of this year. I've always wanted to start a booktube channel. I've been seriously thinking about it for the last year or so, but I was always kind of nervous. I put all these sort of mental barriers. I finally decided to get up my camera, film my first video, put it up and see what happened. I'm so glad I did, and I just really, really want to thank all of you for watching my videos this year, for subscribing, for commenting on my videos. I have some plans for next year which I will tell you about soon, and yeah, it's just been really, really great, and I'm really glad that I took the plunge and did it. And on that note, for me, I just want to say thank you so much for spending 2022 with me. I'm hoping that reading wise at least we will have a good 2023, and Happy New Year to all of you. I hope you have a great New Year's Eve. I'm looking forward to seeing the fireworks in the central city. I will see you in the next video, which I'm hoping to release on Tuesday. It will be Tuesday the 3rd. I'm hoping to release a video then, and then one next Saturday. So until then, Happy New Year.